Hello my tarot friends. Today I'm gonna share with you my Earthy Oracle decks. What I see as earthy is decks that are related to Mother Nature, that give us the messages from Mother Nature, or the messages that are connected to animals or plants. I don't have as many Oracle Earthy decks as Tarot or Earthy decks, but I still have a fair amount. So let's just start. I'm gonna start with this one. So the Herbal Astrology Oracle is one of my favorite oracles of all time. That is because it teaches you about the plant and how people have used it through the ages, and I find that very fascinating. And then on top of that, it also tells you relation to the planets and astrology. I find that very interesting and fun, and you can connect it to tarot as well. As you can see, we have animals on these cards. We have obviously plants. We also have other beings. I mean, here it's obviously related to tarot. It says magician. Here is obviously related to what? The grace with temperance, right? So I love the fact that you have some cards that relate to tarot. And it's just so beautifully painted as well. I feel it can be read intuitively, perfectly too. I just feel it's one of those decks that are overlooked. I don't know why, but it is very amazing. Like, I learned so much about the plants through this deck already. And what I love about it too is that the plants are diverse, I'm gonna say. They're very diverse plants. And some of the plants are controversial plants, like cannabis or magic mushrooms, stuff like that. So I absolutely love it. It's also very diverse because we have people on the cards as well. And I can't explain how much love I have for this deck. The messages are so amazing as well. Let me just show you what you get. A lion's mane, you would get the keyword, and then you would get the Latin word, and then you would have upright messages, reverse messages, astrological rulers. Then you would have about the history of lion's mane and how the people have been using it, and then you get the guidance in the end. And it's just so wonderful. It's so full of information. I love decks that provide that because I'm a sucker for knowledge. So yeah, this is the Herbal Astrology Oracle. Next here I have Thistledown Volume 4. Now this is another deck that I don't use as much as I wanted to use it. I got it at the same time that I got my Oak, Ash and Thorn. I do feel strongly about this deck than I feel about Oak, Ash and Thorn, but still not strongly enough for it to be used enough. I think I need to leave it close to my desk because I do believe that it's very intuitive, it's very beautiful. Although I feel some of the words are a little bit repetitive or don't go with the picture perfectly, but like I said, you can read this deck very intuitively and just ignore the words if they don't make sense to you in that moment in time. The art is absolutely gorgeous, and this deck also shuffles like a dream. I mean, I even prefer it to the Oak, Ash and Thorn. Let me show you. How beautiful is that? And the backs are absolutely gorgeous with the fox, my spirit animal. So yeah, this deck is just very, very beautiful and connected to, I feel, more animal aspect of Mother Earth. Yet it's still earthy, you know? Even though we have a flying squirrel here with wings that are not of a flying squirrel. So funny. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? Wow. This reminds me of Two of Wands. Decision. It's very, 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 very pretty. Yeah, I need to use it more. I don't know why I don't use it. I think because I have a bitter taste in my mouth from Oak, Ash and Thorn, and then because of that, that influences my feelings about this deck. And it shouldn't be like that because they are two separate decks, you know? So yeah, I will definitely use this one more in the future because it does have a really nice animal energy to it. That is also very grounded and earthy. The next deck that I have here is the Wisdom of the Trees Oracle. Now, this deck is so powerful. It is absolutely beautiful. It makes you stop and slow down. Like, you know, the trees have that slow-paced energy because they take so long to grow and they've been amongst us for so long. So the second you put this deck on the table, I feel like you stop and you slow down. And you ground yourself and you try to observe the details on the paintings. It is so beautiful, and in the guidebook you get as well the history of the plant, what it was used for, and then the upright and reversed meanings as well. And you get a message from the plant. And one thing that I would really appreciate is the keywords on the cards, but at the same time you can read it intuitively as well. And perhaps if you're in tune with the trees, you don't need keywords, and maybe the message of the tree is gonna speak to you, and it's nothing like the one in the guidebook. So there you have it. And also what I love about this is you have the system intertwined within the cards. As you can see, we have different color borders, and they represent different types of trees with different messages or different energy, and I really like that about this deck as well. It is definitely a deck you need to spend some time with. You can't just pull it out and know it, but I think it's worth it, and it's absolutely beautiful. The only complaint about this deck that I have is that the cardstock is done in a way where it's impossible to riffle shuffle it, but it shuffles like this very beautifully, and I love the size of these cards. I think it's poker size. Lately, I've been really leaning towards this size of the deck. Like, it is so much smaller, but I don't know. I just love this size. Maybe because I have smaller hands. It just feels so nice to shuffle the cards of this size. Like my Spectral Whirl is similar size than this. Anyways, so yeah, this is the Wisdom of the Trees Oracle. An absolute gem. Next, I have the Sacred Medicine Oracle. Oh man, this deck is very special, I'm gonna say. And what is funny about this is that I was drawn to this deck, even though I'm not a fan of the artwork. Usually, I can't work with the deck if I don't like the artwork. The artwork is too cartoony for my personal taste, but the messages from the artwork are very, very obvious, and you can read these cards very intuitively. I love the fact that you have the name of the card and then a little keyword, and in the guidebook the way that it's written is just so healing, and it feels like a warm hug. I love the fact that this was created by indigenous peoples of America. It's people who wants to share their wisdom with us all. And I really appreciate that, and I'm very grateful. And the teachings that come from these cards are just absolutely beautiful. They're very grounding cards, and the messages are very connected to Mother Earth. Yeah, they're just wonderful. The artwork is very happy and very strong colors, which I appreciate. If it was done in a less cartoony way, I would be even happier. But nevertheless, I love using this deck, and the messages that I get from this deck are always spot on, and I would use it when I need healing, basically. And that's why it's called Sacred Medicine, right? Is where you need that medicine for your soul. So I love this deck so much. Yes, you would also get affirmation at the end, healing affirmation, which I really love. And you get a little sacred ceremony, so you can meditate and imagine the ceremony happening, or you can actually do it. It's just so good. Next, we have the two oracle decks that I put together, and even though I use them separately, I have them together because I feel like they belong together. And I'm just gonna put them this way, and one is the Druid Animal Oracle and one is the Druid Plant Oracle, and they are absolutely gorgeous. They are so beautiful, and as you can see, they have the same borders, which means that you can mix them up. I tried that and it didn't work for me, so now what I would do is I'll take it out and then I'll pull one animal and one plant card for different types of energies. But this is like the most earthy deck I think that I have in my tarot family, and the messages are so amazing in the guidebook as well. Like, it would tell you the whole history of the plant or of the animal, and it's gonna go into really deep detail, the stories about the animal, the plant, how the people used it, and then different divinatory meanings for each of these cards, and it's just so amazing. And I've been using this deck or decks next to my Wildwood Tarot this month, so I feel very connected to these two decks at the moment, and they've been giving me such amazing messages. I mean, sometimes I'm laughing out loud because I'm like, whoa, how is this possible? Like, they complement the reading from the tarot so well. Like, It's like an amazing clarifier. I say I know there's 2 decks, but to me it's 1 deck. 1 deck made of 2 parts, like yin and yang coming together. Unfortunately, there's only 33 cards in each deck, but then again, if you put it together, you have 66 cards, so that's not bad, is it? I just feel very, very connected to this deck, and it really grounds me and connects me to Mother Earth and its energies and messages. So yeah, lovely, lovely, lovely decks, or deck. And it's just artistically so beautiful, isn't it? It is the same artist that created the Druid craft and the Wildwood and is it Celtic Lenormand? But yeah, this is the Druid, Animal and Plant Oracle deck. Okay, so we have 3 more to go. And one is the Faeries Oracle that everyone loves and knows about. So this is a very elemental deck. Why I put it in my earthy decks is because to me, Fae people or Fae are beings that are intertwined with the forest and with the nature. And although they are in another dimension, they are just, I don't know, it's really hard to explain. They are from another dimension, or they work through another dimension, they come through the 3rd dimension, but they're just, I feel, one with Mother Earth. If angels are messengers from God, then Fae are messengers from the earth. Does that make sense? That's how I see them. And that's why I put them in this category. What happened here? I swear when I got this deck it was used. Does that happen to you when you order from Amazon? Like, you get decks that were actually used. That happened to me so many times, and I'm pretty sure this is one of them, because some of the cards have a little bit of something going on with them, and I did not damage them. But nevertheless, this deck is very special, and the guidebook that comes with it is amazing. The only problem with it, it's the cardstock that is as thin as the Tarot of the Great Outdoors. But I suppose it's easy to shuffle. It's actually thicker than that one, funnily enough, but still very thin. But it doesn't bother me. And yeah, the titles are really hard to read. So I'm thinking to just trim it, actually. But I feel I need the Galatine trimmer, because if you look here, it is not a straight line, so it would be really hard for me to know what is straight and what is not straight. So maybe in the future I'll trim it with the Galatine if I get one. And next is one of my favorite decks of all time, and this is the Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle. And I talk about this deck quite a bit on my channel. It is super duper earthy, as we only have flowers in it, but these flowers are just so beautiful and grounding, and the messages are like a warm hug, similar to the Sacred Medicine Oracle, but just from a realm of flowers. I love the guidebook that comes with it, and I love the fact that you get the summary of a message from the guidebook you get on each card, and it is so good. Like, oh, this one, Dandelion is such a good message. So for example, release, and then you will have let it go. Dandelion wants you to listen to the messages your body is sending you and to release the attachments that no longer serve your soul's journey. Whatever you're hanging on to, she will help you detoxify, one thought at a time, releasing negativity and self-judgment and restoring ease and flow to your life. Wow! Like, all the messages are like this. So amazing. So amazing. One of my main oracle decks. It is just so good. I really suggest this deck to anyone who needs some healing on their soul level and needs like a warm hug on a soul level. This deck is very supportive. And I suggest it literally to anyone. If a person asks me which oracle cards should I get first, this is the deck that I would suggest them to get. Yeah, I think this is the only tree in this oracle deck, but it somehow fits, even though it's flowers. But yeah, so this was Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle. We came to my last deck, which is the Green Wheel Oracle. This is painted by Daniel Barlow. It is an indie deck, and it is beautiful. It has like this linen type of finish. I think it is actually printed on canvas type of paper. It is so beautiful. It is all to do with the wheel of the year and the energies that come with it. You also have different moons. You know, we have 13 different moons in a year. They're all in this deck as well. The messages in the guidebook are quite simple. For example, let's look at Robin. Cross the threshold. Robin is the keeper of the threshold, the familiar and friendly guardian who moves easily between our domestic everyday world and the wildwood. Oh, and the wildwood, where monsters may be encountered, magic may happen, and adventures may be had. This card can be an invitation to step out of your comfort zone and into the unknown. This can be a metaphor for life choices, or it can be literal. You may need to step out, walk deeper into the landscape, and visit the wildwood. Such adventures can be heady and intoxicating. Remember, Robin can guide you back if you get lost. Threads, deepening connection, stories and myths, the magic in the mundane, new ventures. And then for the moons, you would get explanation here as well. The only thing that is not explained much is different Sabbats. So you would, for example, in bulk, you'd get the Maiden Office, Sanctuary, and Deep Peace. And then you have just a few threads. I wish she wrote more about the holiday and then what it represents and why she chose to paint it this way. I really wish the guidebook was a bit deeper, but it is what it is, right? It is absolutely gorgeous. I love her artwork so much. She was so kind and she signed it for me as well, which I'm very pleased about. It is a deck that I don't use enough, and I think it's because the guidebook is not as deep as the rest of the decks that I have, but I do need to give it more attention and love because it deserves it. Because I mostly use it for my altar. It definitely does need more attention and love. It is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I could just look at the cards. Look at this. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. The Green Man. Ooh. This guy reminds me of, I think it's called the Guardian in the Witch's Wisdom Tarot. Let me find it. It is the same guy, isn't it? The Guardian, which is the Emperor in the Witch's Wisdom Tarot, is, and that's another thing, you don't get the actual name of the card on the Sabbaths, which is a bit inconvenient. He is on Autumn Equinox, the Lord, the Guardian. I think it's actually the same person. Very cool, isn't it? Very cool. So yeah, these two decks complement each other very well. So yeah, these were my Earthy Oracle decks. I hope you enjoyed them. Let me know in the comments below which Oracle decks do you have that would fall into this category. Thank you for joining me in today's video, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.